live. That's right. We are live. They can see you. Yes, Jacob. This is our Week 14 podcast, and man, I am excited about this week because this is the end of the regular season.
Woo!
And now we get into the really fun stuff.
Wait, can we also just take a moment? We made it a full season. We only skipped one podcast due to a holiday.
True.
Congrats, Luke.
Finally, making it a podcast is way higher effort than just writing it up, but it's really not because sometimes Jacob did all the work. So,
2 weeks specifically.
Yeah, you really did. So, let's just hop right into this. You had something that you wanted to kind of bring up right away.
Well, naturally, I feel like we have to take a moment and acknowledge Josh Allen's 51 points, right?
Wasn't it 55 or was it 51?
I thought it was 51.
Oh, maybe it was 51.
But so I saw that was the highest scoring game, fantasy football.
Full PPR.
Yes, by a quarterback ever. And it talked about the last time, or it broke the previous record of Michael Vick Monday night in November 2010. Fun fact, I had Michael Vick that night. Needed 18 points to win. But within the first 3 plays of the game, he throws like an 80-yard touchdown to Deshaun Jackson, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. So, yeah, Josh Allen, 55 points. Or
51.88. I think
yes.
You're right, yeah.
Michael Vick had 49.3 before
wow.
that. Just wanted to just kind of go through and run down top scoring weeks by position. I was really surprised when I saw this stuff. So,
yeah, this is...
First, we have Jamal Charles in December of 2013, and I feel like we have to throw it back, Luke. Do you know who he played for?
Jamal Charles?
All right, you want to hint?
I'm going to guess he played for, in 2013,
You're wrong. Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
Alex Smith was his quarterback.
The Seahawks.
No,
Alex Smith. I'm thinking Sean Alexander. Alex Smith was the Washington Redskins.
The Chiefs.
Alex Smith was on the Chiefs?
He went 49ers, Chiefs, Commanders, Redskins, yeah.
He only played for the Redskins.
I don't think that's true.
What? They were never. He never played for them before.
He might have been the Washington football team.
No way.
I think so.
All right.
But so as a running back, Jamal Charles puts up 59.5 points. He only had 20 yards rushing and 1 rushing touchdown.
What?
He had 8 receptions, 195 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I went back.
How do you get that on 8 receptions?
So he had a 49-yard touchdown pass. He had a 39-yard touchdown pass. He had a 16-yard touchdown pass and a 71-yard touchdown pass.
Oh, my goodness.
So based on the fact that you don't really know Jamal Charles, I'm assuming you weren't playing fantasy football in 2013?
I was not. No, I did not.
This guy was a PPR nightmare. He was like CMC, just like taking screen passes. He was the hybrid back, and he was very good. And then I think there was a knee injury that ended his career. Second highest scoring week by running back was Clinton Portis, all the way back in December 2003, 57.4 points. Do you know who he played for?
Clinton Portis? No.
That's okay. I wouldn't expect you.
He sounds like a Bears player to me.
Actually, I believe he was a Redskins player.
Okay.
200.
Ain't no football team there. He was 2003, baby.
218 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 receptions, 36 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. So 6 total touchdowns scored that game for him. Now, this is something I wasn't expecting as I'm doing this research. Wide receiver.
I have it up so they can see it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so Jerry Rice and Jimmy Smith in 1990 and 2000. Considering we're in like the offensive output that we are in today's NFL, to have the top scoring fantasy weeks for a receiver back in 1990 and 2000 blows my mind. What's up?
I'm just surprised looking at the 5 touchdowns versus 3 touchdowns, how there's that big of a only that big of a difference.
It's 70 yards and 2 extra catches.
That would do it.
And then tight ends, Kellen Winslow was back in like the 90s, and Shannon Sharp also like 80s, 90s.
Who did Shannon Sharp even play for?
This Shannon Sharp, I believe this one, so it's him and his brother. One was the Packers and one was the Broncos. I believe Shannon was
the Broncos. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I would know if he were a Packers player.
Okay. Then I was on some article and it actually did defense. Can you imagine if you had the Browns defense in 1990 and you get 50 points from your defense special team slot?
That's just so ridiculous.
3 defensive touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 5 fumble recoveries, 6 sacks, 53 total yards allowed.
If that happened, if that happened in our league, I guarantee you we would be getting a text from Boompa. Because no, we'd be getting a text from Boompa and he'd say, "I want to just take the DST off of the."
No. What it would happen is that week would go against Benton, as Benton
So
scores
true.
the second
So
most
true.
points in the league.
Benton would be, up by 49, and then
And
the
then
Browns
lose, yes.
defense.
Yes. And then it wasn't the second highest scoring week by a defense special team, but it was the most current one was Seattle in 2012. So Legion of Boom.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up this game. Seattle won 58-0 against the Cardinals. The Cardinals' starting quarterback was John Skelton. He was 11 for 22, 74 yards, and 4 interceptions.
Oh my goodness.
He did not finish the game.
Skelton.
You also had Ryan Lindley just trying to create a spark off the bench. He went 8 for 17 for 59 yards.
A real fire starter there.
But I mean, I'm looking through the box score on Arizona's team, and very few people do I recognize on this team. I mean, Patrick Peterson played offense to try and do something, it looks like, because he had a catch. Larry Fitzgerald had 1 catch here as well on 11 targets.
Oh my goodness.
So that was a very dominant Seattle defense. And then highest scoring week by a kicker, Rob Baronis, only kicker to score 8 field goals in a single game. Also had 2.
Is that a league record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Also had 2 extra points. Really could have been higher, except for the fact that 6 of his field goals were less than 40 yards. So,
Brandon Aubrey got close this year, didn't
he
he?
got 22.
He got 22.
Somebody
Else got 28, didn't they, this year?
No.
Yeah.
Did okay.
Yeah, somebody
well,
did.
the article I was reading was
Okay.
from September, so there could have been a chance. Yeah, I just was so surprised by that.
Yeah, get that burp out of there, bud.
Thanks.
I just. Oh man.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Otherwise, we can jump into our week.
Let's just jump in because I mean everybody was able to see that, so kind of
Okay.
speaks for itself. But I will say the last thing I'll say is, the league has definitely kind of regressed to the median, as you would say.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, you remember we kept talking about how it was so weird. Like QB and wide receiver productivity was way down.
Way down.
It seemed like it was going to be a running back heavy year, and it still has to some extent. But it's like now we're seeing a lot of these higher scores, this week especially.
Yes,
a
we were
lot of high scores.
Back in the 140s being normal, whereas that was gritty award level.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So we can start off. I lost, in case you guys didn't get it, based on my text messages and all of my sadness. I lost. Even with the major overhaul, my team just didn't produce. Yeah.
why is this guy honking at us?
I don't know. I mean, he's got his lights on.
Okay. Well.
A monster week by Puka, and then David had a 19-point advantage in terms of his defense special teams level. Definitely didn't help me, but my team just doesn't score touchdowns. I had 1 non-quarterback touchdown this week, and in case anyone other than myself is keeping track, Alvin Kamara has not scored a touchdown since week 6.
Whoa. He was a beast for you right
He
away.
was a beast for me.
I tried to trade you probably right around week 6 or 7 for him.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Not me. I mean, that whole team kind of fell apart.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Puka was the real difference maker here. The entire difference of your team scores was Puka, and so you switch that around or whatever. But
I mean, I knew I was a pretender. I knew I was.
you have it here on record.
My team just never was scoring touchdowns. I was a constant 110 point team. I wasn't a boom. I was like borderline bust. I was right in the middle. I do feel like I stack up well against Ross this week, but I like the Wiz. I think the Wiz definitely deserved it more than me. So
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not gonna lose sleep. In fact, now I get to just enjoy and watch football and
Not worry about it.
watch you stress instead.
So yes, so just so you know, the standings as of now, like if you didn't make the playoffs, your standings are 5, 6, 7, 8 in terms of draft pick. So those 4 people will not change. So if you are Jacob, Benton, David, or Sam, you know what draft pick you have next year already. So you can think about that. As for the rest of us who are still in the playoffs, the way that ends up will determine.
Pick. So
pick.
Just like the NFL.
Yep, just like the NFL.
Okay.
So, okay, the next matchup that we have to talk about.
I have yours.
Yeah, was mine.
Which, why don't you just tell the story of your matchup?
I was just hopeful. I was confident. Like I was like, oh my goodness, like.
Imagine you go into the playoffs after beating Ross.
And it would to end the win streak, prevent him from setting a new league record. Which spoiler, he set a new league record. That would have been really nice to beat him and stop that and go into the playoffs on that. And I thought my team for sure was going to do it.
It looked like you were.
At one point, I was like 70%, and then it was like less and less. And Travis Kelce really let my team down. And then I had a 35-point lead heading into Monday night, and I needed Jamar Chase and Brandon Aubrey to combine for less than 35 points. So I was like, this is definitely well within the window of possibility.
Yes.
But I was still like...
You were realistic.
I was like, this should be good. I watched the first quarter of the game, and I just turned it off because I was like, there's no way that Jamar Chase is going to be held.
He's
to
unbelievable.
Less than this. And then I had the chance to get 2 separate feelings of dread when people texted me. Saranch texted me, actually, because I had talked to him the night before about how fantasy was stacking up. He texted me saying, bro, I'm so sorry about Jamar. And then Ross texted me the Thanos that I sent in the group message. And, yeah, it was just like, oh my goodness. So, of course, I log on and look at what happened, and there was Jamar Chase posting his 45 points or whatever. Just like, oh my goodness. But I'm looking forward to a rematch in the Chipper.
Okay.
Hopefully, actually not. I really hope that I win and Ross loses this week. That would be best case scenario. However, you know what? One of the only teams that's beaten him is taking him on this week. Wouldn't it be something? A real Christmas miracle this time.
It would be a real
Christmas miracle if the Wiz took down the Boom. Oh, man. I hope it happens. So, yeah. That's... Oh, yeah, you had a little stat line about Saquon that I actually saw as well.
Yeah. So... Are you talking about
tackled at the one?
Saquon has been tackled at, obviously has been a beast in fantasy football. Number 1 running back. He's been tackled at the 1-yard line a league high 11 times this year, and has been vultured by Hurts in 10 of the 11 times. I don't think.
And the other one he hasn't even.
He didn't get.
It was
either.
probably somebody else.
It might have been a false start and then passing.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
Imagine if Saquon had 10 more touchdowns. How incredible of a fantasy football year he would have. Just that's an additional 60 points.
Yeah.
Then another thing I saw is, so Ross has number 1 running back in Saquon and number 1 wide receiver in Jamar. The difference in points scored by Jamar versus the number 2 wide receiver is roughly the same as the difference between Saquon and the number 7 running back.
Which is what? Bijan?
I don't know.
Probably something like that. Who's number 2 wide receiver? Do you know?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But it's like to show just how like we consider Saquon kind of one of Ross's secret weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Jamar Chase is so significantly better than the number 2 guy.
Yeah. He got off to a slow start, too.
It was
week 1 and 2 where
yes.
it was the Joe Burrow, the reason I dropped Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had Joe Burrow right now.
I know. Okay.
You love Baker. It's okay.
I do love Baker, even though he kind of started throwing a lot of picks recently.
He's forcing it.
He is.
All right. We'll move on to our
Frame train.
And like we've said, Josh Allen, I mean, he goes last week, he throws a touchdown to himself. This week, he scores 6 total touchdowns, breaks the single game fantasy football points scored record for a quarterback. Way to go.
And he was the only running back or only quarterback to have 3 rushing touchdowns, 3
ever
receiving touchdowns in a game ever.
Yep. I also just want to, I don't even know if this is salt in Benton's wound. JJ scored his first touchdown since week 7.
Oh, snap.
So just very similar to the Kamara thing. I mean, you got to start JJ every week.
We've gone through the kind of the Sam Darnold drought a little bit, and now you're seeing passes to Hawk, Josh Oliver, Jalen Naylor, and Jordan Addison.
Jalen Naylor was automatic touchdown every week early season.
I think he's still number 3 probably now behind Addison in receiving touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah.
On the Vikings.
But I mean, poor Benton. Like, you have to start JJ every week.
You have to start him.
But if he's not scoring touchdowns, like I said earlier, it's hard to win when you're not scoring touchdowns.
Imagine if Benton had taken, Jamar Chase, all those, whenever he got JJ.
He got JJ in like a late round pick, went way back in the day. Yeah.
Could have been a different story this year.
Yep. You have any thoughts?
No, but I mean, before Benton says, "Hey, I had 130 points," I really, this sucks for me. Guess what, Benton? It's not even an unlucky loss. You actually scored only the second lowest points this week. So not to again rub salt in the wound, but like the league was just high this week, and so it's not even an unlucky loss. You can't even go out on that note of saying I'm a victim of unluckiness again. Wiz versus the Romness.
Man, like we know, it's been well documented, I'm one of the Wiz's biggest fans.
You really are.
But this week, I was one of Sam's biggest fans. And the emotional bye week that Sam showed up.
He wasn't at first. He was going to win for a second there, wasn't he?
Sam?
Yeah.
Sam was very favored, and then I think in the second half of the Buffalo-LA Rams game, Kyron scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that was really the turning point, as well as Mahomes not showing up.
Mahomes not showing up, Sam Darnold balling out.
Which we were questioning last week. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That we were like, oh, Mark, you're picking Sam Darnold to replace Lamar.
It ended up being the move of the week.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Sam picked to start Kareem Hunt. Maybe not.
Oh, man.
Maybe wouldn't have been.
When I saw that on the waiver report, I thought to myself, Sam, don't do it.
It wouldn't have been my choice.
I thought to myself, Sam, don't do it. Don't do it, Sam. He's not good. He's not good at Kareem Hunt. That's pretty good, wasn't it?
That was good. It wouldn't have been my choice. But it's not like I would have started Chuba Hubbard against the Eagles.
But didn't Chuba end up doing better?
Oh, 20 points.
Yeah.
So, but like in the end, I can only say thank you to Sam for trying.
You make the decisions you make,
And again, mad props to the Wiz. Like I've said, Mark has a sneaky good team. He deserves to be in the playoffs way more than I do.
Will he beat Ross this next week? Let's see.
Spoilers, I pick him to beat Ross.
Okay. I want to just move on to our weekly awards, and these will be the last weekly awards, which means that, yes, tonight I will be also awarding our seasonal Awards.
Ooh.
So we will find out who is the grittier of the season. We all know that one.
Luke.
Who is the mismanager of the season? Who's the waiver winner of the season? And who earns the lovely title of Mr. Unlimited until next season begins? Actually, I think that this person should probably name their team Mr. Unlimited next year. But
I feel like this person almost needs like a Russell Wilson memorabilia, like a bobblehead or something.
something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe I should get that.
That's a good
That's
idea.
a good idea. Okay, so, but for the weekly awards this week, week 14, Gritty Award, everybody hates him. Ross gets it by less than a point.
Moving on.
Moving
Best
on.
bench.
Best bench mismanager also actually goes to Ross this week. He missed Charbonnet.
What a pickup. I saw Kenneth Walker was out, and I was like, oh, I should pick him up. Already gone.
Charbonnet, yeah, Ross is a hawk. So
that Hawaii time really does good things for him.
it can do good things for him. It really can. But he missed Charbonnet, and that would have been crazy if Ross would have had Charbonnet in as well. He would have started him over somebody, I think, let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Waiver
Anyway,
winner, as already kind of hinted at, got to give it to Mark for Sam Darnold replacing Lamar Jackson and
Yeah.
probably outscoring Lamar Jackson most weeks with
yeah,
the
and
game he
it was
had.
just what Mark needed when he needed it to
Yep.
win, get in.
Like I said, Mark is sneaky good. Watch out, guys.
And then Russell Wilson award, Mr. Unlimited of the week, goes to Jacob. You get it. For having trust and repeat. The repeat part of your name is especially the offender here because you didn't even make the playoffs this year. So not going to repeat that championship. Your name will not be going on the scroll of justice or the scroll of
Destiny.
That's what it could
All
be.
right. No new entries into the under 100
No,
club.
you barely avoided it.
I
thought
I
for
was-
sure.
Going into Monday night, I was projected 99.9 points, but Joe Burrow balls out. I stay out of there.
And then we do have to, again, acknowledge there has been a new league record set. Hasn't changed since our first ever season. David, at one point, held this record of longest win streak, 8 wins in 2021. That has now been replaced by Ross, 9 wins and counting. 9 wins and counting.
So, question. Is this regular season wins we're counting, or does this continue to the playoffs? So my question is, does this win streak, will it count if he wins this week in the playoffs, or do we pause it and does it resume next season?
That sounds like a good idea, but I'd have to go and check that I didn't apply that to David's.
Okay.
So I could do that right now, but
just
I'll
let's
just
move
do it
on.
later. Yeah. Because then I would maybe retroactively have to do some things. So I'll look at that. I will.
I think it's worth looking.
Okay. Okay. Now on to my. Oh, I don't even have seasonal awards on here.
Yikes.
I do know what they are. Let me just write this down so that I don't. Okay.
So, how's everyone doing this fine evening? Leave a comment.
Okay.
Let us know you're watching.
Okay. All right. I know you guys have all been waiting for this. Here it is. The seasonal winner
Of the Gritty Award?
of the Gritty Award.
Who is it? I haven't been
Is-
keeping track.
Let's see. It's Ross.
Wow. Congrats, Ross. You've only clinched it for like the last 6 weeks.
It's a lovely picture of you too, Ross.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, you've had it clinched for a few weeks. We all knew this, so no surprises there. This one is a little bit more. Maybe you know, maybe you don't have a feeling of who this is going to be, but I feel like it makes sense when you hear it. So
Yeah.
without further ado, the Best Bench Mismanager Award goes to. That is Mark Allen Miltimore, AI merged with Matt Eberflus, who is probably the
Mismanager of the
He
year.
embodied mismanager for me
For
when I was
real.
thinking about
He
this.
really
So,
does.
Mark, you are the Seasonal Mismanager Award. Congratulations. I think, let me see.
But Mark, just know that you're still in the playoffs, and that's what
Oh,
matters.
so here's something about the Gritty Award before I everybody other than Ross, nobody won it more than one time, and Benton and Mark did not win the Gritty Award ever this season.
Okay.
And now for the Best Bench or the Mismanager Award, I was close to edging out Mark. I had 3 entries and Mark had 4. And the only person who did not win the Mismanager Award this season was Sam. Now, we were talking, is that a good thing? Does it just mean he had nobody good on his bench ever? Does it mean he always played the right people? Does it mean that it really didn't matter who he started because his team was always trash? Maybe.
I don't know.
So that is congratulations, Mark. You are the Mismanager.
I still can't get over Mark's Matt Eberflus merge.
It is just lovely, isn't it?
It really is.
Okay. Next, without further ado, here we go. This is let's go to I want to reveal the Mr. Unlimited last. So I'm going to skip and we're going to go to the waiver winner. Okay. Waiver winner for season 2024 is Sam.
Way to
Sam
go,
wins
Sam.
it. Early on in our first week podcast, Sam said, "Look at my waivers. Look at my waivers. Watch my waivers. I'm on that waiver." So this is Sam. It's kind of interesting. It's Photoshop. Jacob. I was asking Jacob, I was like, who's like a good like scout or whatever, and he said Les Snead.
Yeah.
Explain that.
He's the GM of the Rams, famous for saying F the picks when they won their Super Bowl. I don't know. He's one of the well-known GMs. It would either be him or Howie Roseman is what the other one I said. It is really an interesting picture of that face merge.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Fierro from the new Wicked, honestly, in that. So
like it looks like
Sam.
This is probably the smoothest one so far.
Yeah, it looks like Sam, but like with more of like a D-bag look in his eye. I don't know.
It's Chad Sam.
So notes on this one. Let's see. I almost actually beat Sam out. I had 3 to his 4 entries. Again, there were 2 weeks that we didn't pick a waiver winner.
Uninspired.
And then Benton again did not win this award at all, and Boompa did not win this award at all either. So you guys need to make better moves. Boompa, you know what? Boompa, his hands are tied by the waiver order, not resetting each week, as we've heard.
It does reset each week,
or not. I don't know. Not.
It's not going around like a merry-go-round.
Yes. He didn't get his fair shot at the waiver winner.
He's too good. We get it.
Yes. Okay, and finally, our last award to give out, which I'm very excited to give out, is the Russell Wilson Mr. Unlimited. This is kind of like the cheese touch in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You don't want this award, but it is subjective. So, like, if you get it from me and Jacob, there's really nothing you can do about it.
We tried to be fair.
Like, stink on a rotting corpse, I guess. I don't know. What's that saying? Like, stink on... There's a saying with it. Anyway.
I'm not the one to ask about sayings.
Okay. Like stink on a rotting corpse. Here it is. The Mr. Unlimited Award this year goes to none other than... Sam. Dun, dun, dun. That is Sam merged. Unlimited. Sam, you are Mr. Unlimited. And I'm going to, you know what? I'll send this picture to you.
Wait. Romness country. Let's ride.
Romness. You got to ditch that. This can be your picture next year. You can I'll do a little circle cutout for you that you can have. I'll give that to you for free if you'd like that, Mr. Unlimited. Not only that, but Sam, you retain your presidency of the Under 100 Club this year as well. So
I feel like it's fitting that
it is fitting. Mr. Unlimited is Mr. Under 100.
Russell Wilson plus combined with Sam kind of looks like a sim.
It kind of looks like a guy, honestly, who would go on like Love Is Blind.
Yes.
Like, hey, I'm
in
it for love, baby.
Not Love Is Blind.
Perfect Match.
Love Island.
Oh, Love Island. Oh, for sure. Like somebody off Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
He's a man. You know what? Sam has had that beard before too, so it just like fits. Maybe not the hair, but just that look in his eye. Gosh, I'm gonna leave that up for a little bit, so we can all look at that.
So we'll move on to kind of my luck report. There was no change. So I did something a little bit different this week. I looked at what would playoffs look like if we were only looking at median wins. So if you scored in the top 4, you get a win. Bottom 4, no win. Relatively the same up top. You have Ross, Boompa, Mark in the 1, 2, 3 seed. So Mark actually moves up. And David, surprisingly, in the 4 seed. 7 wins. 7 median wins. And the first out, Benton.
Yep.
And then I also looked at playoffs if we were adding median wins. So essentially, if you scored in that top half, you get an extra win. So first 3 remain the same. Ross, Boompa, Mark, 25, 20, and 14 wins. Then it would be you at 13. You had 5 median wins this year.
Okay.
So
I'd still make the playoffs.
You would still. So essentially, the playoffs actually, if we add median wins, stay the same with the first out being me.
Yep.
David, I believe, actually moves up to being tied with me, in terms of wins plus median wins, but I outscored him by about 6 points this year.
In terms of points for.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, so Benton, this is what could have been, even if everything had gone your way, bud.
You were close.
You were close, but just not there.
But I think the one thing to take away from this is Ross scored in the top half of the league all but 1 week. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, and that probably was the week that he lost to the Wiz.
Probably.
Because he had like only 100 some points that week.
Yeah, that was a low scoring week for him. Looking at the final analytics power rankings for the season.
Regular season, yeah. But, I mean, that's when all of this really will end.
Yep. And really, you have some distinct tiers here. You have Ross at a tier by himself. I'd say Boompa in tier 2 by himself. Luke, you and Mark really grouped together, 50 and 48 wins against all. David and Benton end up grouping together at 41, and then Sam and
Sam. Wow.
Bottom feeders. And what's incredible about this, Sam and I played each other in the championship last year.
Yeah.
And now we are technically the weakest teams in the league.
Bad
according
draft
to this.
picks.
Bad draft picks.
Michael Pittman, first round. It tells you everything you need to know.
Do you know that I no longer have my first 2 draft picks on my team?
Who were they? Because I didn't make note of it then.
Josh Jacobs and Devonta Smith.
Oh, okay. So they traded.
No, I straight up dropped Devonta.
You did? Is he on the waivers?
No one wants him.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Man, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's... maybe this would be Maybe this would be a good time to go back and look at the first draft. First round.
I think it's something we could look at if we do a podcast after this week.
I've got it right here. Marvin Harrison.
Eh.
That's a bust.
Yeah, probably.
Pacheco was train.
I would say Pacheco was a good pick.
He was a good pick, but IR.
Yeah, but that's
Still
beyond his control, I feel.
David took Drake London.
Probably not worth a first round pick.
No, Darnell Mooney kind of sapped a lot of that this year.
And Kyle Pitts those 3 weeks.
Cheese Whiz took Kyron Williams.
Great pick.
The Idiot took Chris Olave.
Bad.
Dumped. The Contenders took Derrick Henry. Great pick. Romnus Revived took Michael Pittman. Oh, man. He was dropped, week 4?
He was dropped quick. I remember laughing at Sam when he made that pick.
Oh, man. And then you took Josh Jacobs. Traded, not dropped.
Yes.
Traded, not dropped.
Josh Jacobs was traded for J.K. Dobbins, who within a week was on IR.
And then just looking at round 2, just because you had mentioned your Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith dropped. Rashad White kept. He's still on the team by Romnus Revived.
Yep.
Nico Collins on the Contenders.
Great pick.
Mike Evans on the Idiot.
Great pick.
Fine pick. He's
only because of injury.
Yeah, I guess. Devin Achan.
Great pick.
By the Wiz.
I made fun of the Wiz.
Totally. Because nobody knew what his value was going to be this year.
Well, I thought he was a backup.
No, same.
Yeah.
Laporta by Rebrand. Kind of mid this year, really.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp by Frame Train.
Great
pick. DK Metcalf by the Idiot.
Okay pick.
Yeah, kind of okay. You know what? The best thing that came out of me drafting DK was that he is now Lewis's favorite football player. I want to see DK. Green shoes.
All right, let's preview round 1 of the playoffs. I've only done some research on the actual playoffs, not the consolation bracket. I think that's fair. I think for the most part, us consolation people are just playing for the fun of it. The real stress is on that winner's side. I'm going to start with, let's start with your game, Luke.
Sure.
Idiot versus the contender. You versus Boompa. So interesting that we have just an overall point. We'll have a Miltimore in the championship match, and then we'll have an Ambrose representative in the championship match. I do.
Is this family supremacy that we're fighting for?
It could be.
We do have a better chance because we have 5 to the 3.
It's true.
But
I mean, you could technically, if we wanted, we could push you and make it 4-4 to make it even. I mean,
you could make me a Miltimore.
Yeah. Luke, you are hitching your wagon to the Broncos country.
Yes, sir.
To get to championship game. And I had a lot of doubts before, both about Knicks, and you were like, oh, I got Sutton for some bench support. And man, when you started Bo Nix, great. And these last couple of weeks, Sutton has pulled through.
You got to double dip to beat the double dipper. That's all I'm saying.
He's not double dipping anymore, though.
He's not? He's kind of off of that?
Kincaid's kind of been on the bench lately.
Oh, boy.
I will say, Luke, I was looking at some matchups. Derrick Henry against the Giants should make you fear for your life.
I said a few weeks ago that I did not think Boompa would make the championship.
And
now
it's
up to me.
This is your chance.
I can't blame anybody but myself.
So can I just give you a stat line? Saquon, Derrick Henry, roughly the same fantasy player value, right? Similar play style, slightly different. Saquon went up against the Giants roughly week 6 or so, I want to say. Had 17 carries, 176 yards.
Oh.
So, like I said, that's a scary sign for you.
Yeah, considering Derrick Henry will probably get twice as many carries.
I don't... the Ravens are kind of weird. He either gets fed a lot or he only gets 3 carries.
Well, he'll get 30 yards.
We'll see. So both games, it's roughly based on projections, favoring the high seed by about 10 points. Gosh, who are the Broncos playing this week, Luke?
Oh, I don't even know yet. I should
Lukey.
pull that back up. I think they're playing Indy.
Yes, that's who they're playing.
Because I took that because I liked that matchup a little bit better. Then I don't even know
Than the Chargers. I think that's a great move by you. I don't know, Lukey. I think I gotta. Oh, does the contender become a pretender this week? Josh Allen's going into Detroit this week.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's scoring 50 points.
No, I don't think so. I hope not.
I'm assuming you're going to... Do you have any comments on this game, on this week?
No, it's just that I don't know, like my running back situation. I don't like Tyrone Tracy going against Baltimore.
No.
Hate that. But Breece Hall is questionable.
Love that you're starting Jordan Addison.
I kind of need to. I mean, my other option is Debo.
DK?
DK versus Green Bay. DK's also been fighting injury.
He has no injury designation right now.
I've got Addison versus Chicago. Chicago has a good pass defense.
Yeah.
But is Addison the guy?
What does that mean? Oh,
like will he be the guy this week who gets 2 touchdowns? Will he get 1? Well, you got it. I mean, Garrett Wilson is also on my lineup against Jacksonville, which I love. If Breece Hall weren't injured in his knee, which is, he tore his ACL, and if they weren't on a losing team, and if I knew he was going to play, I'd have him in my lineup now.
You know what, Luke? A wise man once told me, no guts, no glory. And I can tell you've got the guts. Will you get the glory?
I don't know.
We'll see. Are you feeling nervous, stressed?
I'm feeling nervous because this is obviously a big game for me, and also I made the prediction Boompa wouldn't make the championship, and I really have no idea how my team is going to shape up.
You are also the only one of the Ambrose brothers that has not won the championship.
Sam hasn't.
Damar Hamlin.
Sam didn't win the championship. He didn't. He didn't. There's an asterisk, but his name is not on the scroll.
Oh, Sam, I tried.
Yeah, he'll probably be screaming at his phone as he watches that.
All right. So I think this is going to be close. I'm going to go with Boompa.
Okay. Well, I have to bet on myself.
You do.
I do.
You made this you made the prediction
I did.
long ago.
And I think that it'll happen. I do.
All right.
I hope it'll happen.
All right. Now, I think matchup of the week, as much as yours.
Yeah, totally.
But I think between it being Ross and the crowd favorite of the Cheese Whiz, this would get the primetime matchup.
Absolutely.
When I was thinking, as I was kind of doing some scouting going into hoping to make the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
I did not like Ross's matchups this week. I thought Ross was vulnerable this week. Whether that's actually true or not, we'll see. Don't like the noise coming out of Philly for him either.
Right.
Don't like having to go against the Pittsburgh defense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it could be a great defensive game for Pittsburgh. And then what do you do? And this is where it's interesting. The first week being a 1 week playoff game.
It allows for randomness.
Yep, it allows for the craziness. And
do you know who Lamar Jackson is going against?
He's going against the Giants. So this could be a 40-point week for Lamar.
And a 10-point week for Jalen.
And that would be really great.
For everyone but Ross.
But, I mean, you do see, okay, Jamar Chase is going up against Tennessee. The Bengals are going up against Tennessee. Tennessee?
Tennessee held Justin Jefferson to, like, one catch.
That's Justin Jefferson, though.
Jamar Chase is essentially the same thing.
He's got Joe Burrow instead of Sam Darnold thrown to him.
They're the same person.
They're not the same person. Okay.
I mean, Tennessee has a good defense. They play a conservative scheme. If Jamar Chase might get his fair share of catches, but he's not going to go off in terms of explosive plays in theory. I mean,
Ross has one offensive player projected below 15 points, and that's A.J. Brown.
Which is incredible, versus Mark has T.J. Hawkinson, Jalen Waddle. I guess only two.
And Zay Flowers is also 14.9.
Oh, okay. I think that Mr. Mark Miltimore, the Wiz himself, pulls out a victory here and makes the championship game. And do you know what? I think he can win it all.
Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't that be something? The guy that said he was happy with his one win.
I got my win. I'm good.
Do you know what? He could be the champion
This
of the league.
would be the story of the season.
The season? It could be the story of the league.
Can you imagine? Like, I wish that I had taken videos of Mark after every week just so that I could make like a documentary of this. Like
an ESPN 30 for 30 of Mark Miltimore. I'm good with my one.
I'm good. But I'm going to win it all by doing the bare minimum.
I'm going to make some sneaky mismanagement plays so everyone underestimates me.
Yep.
I got a cheerleader on the podcast. Mark, you can do it, man.
I'm not so confident. I'm taking Ross on this one.
I'm telling you, I
Are you gonna take Mark on this just to make it interesting?
No, I'm taking Mark. I really do believe that Ross is vulnerable this week.
All right.
I think that this 1 week playoff really allows for this randomness, and which I actually think is good. I think that round 1 being 1 week is okay. I think it will be interesting to see what happens.
Let's see. Did Mark lose, or did Ross lose in week 3 or 4?
I believe 3. No,
was
Marcus first?
4?
Yeah.
Okay, so they went up against Tampa Bay that week. The Eagles did.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts. Well, the thing is, Jalen Hurts scored 16 points. Saquon scored 13. And A.J. Brown, was he hurt? Was he?
He was hurt.
He was hurt, so he did not play. Could be a part of the reason.
You know, one of the things I regret most this year is giving A.J. Brown for Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Or no, no. Who did I give A.J. Brown for? Oh, a draft pick. Second round draft pick, which ended up being
DK.
Mike Evans and DK.
It was DK because it was the end of the round.
It was both. But yeah.
Green shoes. You traded AJ Brown for green shoes.
I traded AJ Brown
for Lewis's
loving,
joy.
Yes, for Lewis loving DK. And if that isn't a good father for you, I don't know what is.
Just laying on the sword. All right. Anything else before we go?
Nope, that's it.
Wow.
End of the regular season. We'll see you all next week.
Let's go, Cheese Whiz. Let's go.